Look, quick question. Have you ever opened your banking app and thought, okay, I make money, so why does it still feel like it disappears? Because here's the thing. You're not reckless, you're not gambling, you're not blowing cash on yachts and champagne, but somehow every month feels tighter than the last. And the scary part? You don't even know what you're doing wrong. Because it doesn't feel like overspending. It feels normal. Uber instead of walking, food delivery instead of cooking, streaming instead of cable, paying a little extra so life just feels smoother. And that's exactly the problem. My name is Lex Money, and I spend way too much time thinking about why people who aren't irresponsible still end up financially stuck. Specifically, why billions of dollars quietly disappear every year, not because people are bad with money, but because they keep paying for comfort without ever seeing the bill. If you're someone who makes money, works hard, and still feels like you're constantly treading water, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And give this video a thumbs up if you've ever said, it's just a few extra dollars, it's fine. Because today, we're talking about something almost nobody tracks, something nobody budgets for, something that doesn't show up as bad spending. It's called the convenience tax. Here's what most people don't realize. There is an invisible tax in modern life, not charged by the government, not written on your paycheck, not listed as a line item in your budget, but it hits you every single day. The convenience tax is the extra money you pay to avoid effort, waiting, discomfort, or planning. And the reason it's so dangerous is because every single charge feels justified. You're not being lazy, you're being efficient. At least, that's what it feels like. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Lex, but these are small costs, they don't matter. That assumption? That's the trap. Because the convenience tax doesn't hurt you with one big punch. It slowly bleeds you out with 1,000 tiny cuts. Let's walk through a completely normal day. You wake up late, grab coffee on the way to work instead of making it. That's what, $5? Lunch comes, you're busy, you order delivery, another $18. After work, you're tired, you Uber home instead of waiting for the bus, $12. Dinner, you're exhausted, delivery again, $25. Nothing crazy happened, no splurge, no impulse buy, just convenience. That day alone, you paid an extra $40 to $60 purely to make life easier. And here's the thing, you won't remember any of it tomorrow. According to data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average American household now spends over $3,500 per year on food away from home. Delivery platforms report that the average order includes 20 to 30% in hidden fees, tips, and markups. Ride-hailing costs are often 2 to 3 times public transportation, yet usage continues to rise. In subscription services, the average person underestimates how many they have by 30 to 50% according to studies from C+R research. Here's what that means. You don't feel like you're spending a lot, but your lifestyle quietly has a premium attached to it. Let's do actual math. Say your convenience habits cost you an extra $15 per day. That doesn't sound insane, right? $15? That's $450 a month, $5,400 per year. Now scratch that across 10 years. That's $54,000, and that's before investing. If that money were invested at a modest 7% return, you're looking at over $75,000. For what? Not memories, not assets, not freedom, just smoother days. This is where it gets really interesting. The most dangerous part of the convenience tax isn't the money, it's what it does to your brain. Your brain is wired to avoid friction. Waiting feels painful, effort feels expensive, planning feels exhausting. So when you pay for convenience, your brain rewards you. No stress, no delay, no discomfort. Which means convenience spending doesn't trigger guilt. There's no shame attached. You didn't do anything wrong, so your brain never tells you to stop. Now, you might be thinking, but Lex, my time is valuable. Yes, it is. But here's the question nobody asks. Are you actually buying time, or are you just avoiding discomfort? Because there's a big difference. Think of convenience like standing on an escalator. You're moving, but only because the machine is doing the work. The moment it stops, you realize you weren't walking anywhere on your own. Convenience makes life easier today at the cost of momentum tomorrow. Here's what most people don't realize. Convenience doesn't just cost money, it quietly raises your baseline. Once you get used to faster, easier, smoother, normal starts to feel unacceptable. And suddenly, cooking feels like a chore, waiting feels insulting, planning feels like stress. So you pay, again and again and again. This is why people feel quietly broke, not because they're bad with money, but because their default lifestyle has a convenience surcharge baked into it. And the worst part? When money gets tight, convenience is the last thing they're willing to cut, because it's tied to comfort and identity and sanity. I've seen this over and over. Someone gets a raise. They feel richer for about 2 months. Then better phone plan, more delivery, more rides, more subscriptions, and suddenly the raise is gone. Not spent, absorbed by convenience. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't live beyond their means. They live at the maximum comfort level their income allows. And that's why nothing changes. So what do? First, you make the invisible visible. For 1 week, track only convenience spending. Not food, not rent, just money spent to avoid effort. Delivery, rides, fees, premium upgrades. You don't judge it, you just look at it. Most people are shocked. Second, introduce friction on purpose. Here's a rule. If it's convenient spending, wait 10 minutes. If you still want it after that, fine. That pause alone cuts usage dramatically. Third, pick your comforts. You don't need to eliminate convenience. You need to choose it intentionally. Pick 2 to 3 areas where convenience actually improves your life. Protect those. Cut the rest. Convenience isn't bad. Unconscious convenience is bad. Look, modern life is designed to drain you quietly. Nobody warns you, nobody explains it, nobody puts a label on it. But once you see the convenience tax, you can't unsee it. And here's the good news. You don't need more money. You just need to stop leaking it. Because the fastest raise you'll ever get is the one where you keep what you already earn. If this video made you think differently about your spending, hit the like button. It tells the algorithm this actually helped someone. Subscribe if you want to stop feeling stuck without turning your life upside down. And remember, comfort is expensive, but awareness, that's free.